Let's talk a little bit about economics and supply and demand. These athletes that want to sit here and push their political agenda. I mean, on their own spare time, people wouldn't care, but when you're pushing it on the field or the basketball court or the ice rink, whatever, if somebody is in direct opposite, and even if like they don't care, right? They like, even if they don't have the same beliefs as them, it just gets annoying, you know. I don't need to see your cause on the back of your jersey or the back of your helmet. The only thing I want to see is the last name, your number, and the logo. I don't care. And if the team wants to do advertisement, that's it's whatever. But when you show your political cause, it's highly annoying and it turns people off. It's like you're trying to push things down our throat. And then the NBA and NFL, they lost ratings. Not only have they lost money, these owners they've lost money in the stands from ticket sales, but they've lost ratings, in TV ratings, and that's huge. Ticket sales, um, it's big, but the TV contracts are what's really big, and I don't think that they, you got these older players like LeBron James who goes ahead and pushes this crap, which he didn't even put anything on the back of his jersey too. So like he's pushing these political politics, his political agenda, right? And then everybody else is putting the politics on the back of their jersey, but he's not. Um, I'm all for like what they're trying to say about police reform. I'm definitely for that, but it's just that's not the time and the place really to be pushing that. Because see, when people watch sports, what they're doing is they're getting out of their own reality. They're getting out of their own monotonous life. Life can be pretty damn boring, and people do. Maybe they should take their problems head on, but some people like to escape reality for a little while, and they don't want to see all that. They just don't. And there's so many different platforms that these players could have used, which they probably do, but they just don't need to do it on that stage. And you know when you basically slap the fans in the face and forget who supplies you with all that money that you get. Yeah, like I said, LeBron James, he's getting towards the end of his career, so he's gonna get his money. But when the next union contract comes up and they're negotiating with these TV um, mega corporations about the next contract, with the low ratings, that's going to affect these advertisers' bottom line. So they're going to get less money. They're not going to get paid like they are right now. They're going to get paid less. And I just don't understand. When you're on that stage, why would you would want to be as nonpartisan as possible, because you're selling a product, right? That's a product. The NFL or the NBA is a product that you're trying to sell to people. And if you alienate half of the population or half of the fans, you're just hurting yourself at the end. What's going to happen is you're going to it's crazy. The NBA and the NFL, they're gonna ask for a bailout. I know it's coming, and they're probably gonna get it. What's crazy, Um, and these players are going to ask to be bailed. These rich people, this is going to be put right in our faces. And, most people don't care about politics, pretty clear. When that's put in their face, where these pampered rich athletes, aren't getting the millions that they were before, and they're getting paid less, and then they ask to be bailed out, that's a major slap in the face. Who pays for the new stadiums? It's mostly the taxpayers. Who pays for the jerseys? Well, it's the regular fans. Who pays for the tickets? The fans. And then they pay the sales tax on that stuff too. Well, these athletes just forget where they came from. They don't understand. They just want to throw everything out the window and then watch when the contracts come up, and then and they start negotiating, and they and these advertisers say, well, look at our ratings. You're not pulling in as many viewers as you were, so we're going to pay you substantially less. And what it does is people like LeBron James, who got all political when they should have, when they could have done it on their own time, but when they could have, kept it off of this platform. These older players are screwing the younger players, and younger players are going to get pissed, and it they're shooting themselves in the foot. That's what they've done, and they don't feel it yet because they're guaranteed their money, but soon those contracts will wear out, and these big bloated contracts, right? Like, they are more of a detriment to a team, to build a team, than asset. Let's say like Westbrook and Chris Paul, like they get paid all this money. Like I think Chris Paul gets paid $44 million this year, but his talents don't equal what he gets paid. So a lot of people would like to have him on their team, right? But since he gets paid so much, it just takes up so much of the salary cap. The NBA has a salary cap where they can only have so much money they can spend a year. It's a complicated thing, and you can do some research into it yourself. But when one player is taking up half of the cap, and maybe they're older or they're not as good as they were a couple of years ago, which they still have talent, but it just doesn't equal to their salary. You're gonna see these fans are gonna lash out. Like, why is this guy getting paid so much money? And they're bringing the team down. Like Ben Roethlisberger. He probably could play one more year, but since he's being owed $44 million, I mean, that's a major. It's eating up a lot of cap space. I think that's like $180 million to $200 million in the NFL. Well, you got to put 53 people on that roster, and if your quarterback takes up a quarter of the salary cap. Dude, I mean that's huge. That's huge, especially when he's had his best days behind him. He's older, and this is why I think that the players should get paid millions or whatever based off of what they do, not what they've done in the past. Every player should get a base salary. Now, then you get your bonuses. If you're a starter, if you put so much stats up, then you get extra bonuses, But just to have every play, what it does is it makes more competition, too. If these players are... The classic thing is like these NFL players that get their third contract. and they move to another team, and they're just a dud. They're nothing what they used to be. They're older. They lost a little bit of their athleticism, and they just get paid all this money, and you know. But as long as the fans pay, as long as the fans keep having attention put on this, you can't cry about the high ticket prices. You can't cry about these athletes getting paid so much, is because you're part of the problem. Your attention is put on there. If they didn't get the attention, which like the viewership, like I said, there's a big possibility that they're going to be taking pay cuts with the next contract if they keep on having low viewership. Because why would you pay that? Um, it's just the system is outdated. There's a lot of systems that are outdated that need to be revamped or thought of better or just redone altogether, and that includes our justice system, our politics, our government. Our law. Some of our laws don't make any sense anymore. But yeah, it's gonna be. Get ready. When the NBA and the NFL cries for a bailout, and maybe even Hollywood too. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine these ultra rich people crying for a bailout because they're not getting paid as much as they think that they should, because they're so entitled and they're so pampered? Things are going to be changing. People are going to turn on them too. People will turn on them, and they're going to look really bad. Oh, you're living the high on the hog, but then you're going to take from the taxpayer too, which you're going to make me pay more taxes to pay for your mishaps and low performance and your mismanagement. Here's something. The ultimate. Go back and look at Michael Jordan. Look at how he did it. That's how you need to be. Go out there like Kobe Bryant. Kobe had his skeletons, but to sit here and forget about your fans, forget about the people that really matter, the ones that keep the whole thing going. If it wasn't for the fans, I mean, the empty stands should really show you NFL players and NBA players. It should be a rude awakening, because, I mean, if you want to keep it up, those empty stands as empty stadiums, that could be a reality going forward. People can't afford it. People, well, I would just rather watch it on TV, or just don't watch it at all. How about I just do some self-improvement? I stopped watching it. If I watched the Super Bowl for my kid, with my family, but I didn't keep track of any football. Maybe I'll look at some news so I could talk to some coworkers about it. Keep a conversation going, but that's about it. I don't care. I don't care about the NBA or NFL or any of it. As far as I'm concerned, the whole stuff can collapse and I'll be fine. I don't need it. I don't need Hollywood. I don't need any of it.